With operations in a large number of countries and history spanning over a century, ESAB is a world leader in the production of welding consumables and equipment, putting them right in the epicenter of the supply chain for a huge range of industries. This, of course, brings with it a wide range of procurement challenges. Joining me to discuss some of those challenges is Jamie Foster, Global Procurement Director at ESAB. Good afternoon, Jamie.
Afternoon, Dan.
So perhaps if we kick things off by just telling us a bit about how procurement is structured within ESAB.
ESAB follows a pretty standard model. We have a holding company based in London, but we have facilities all around the world. So each is split into a region. We have Europe, Asia Pacific, and the Americas, all of which have their own operational procurement and a degree of strategic procurement. And then from a central procurement function, we are managing the key direction and effectively the governance of that entire model.
And what are the company's core categories?
We're split between three main areas. We have a consumables business, we have an equipment business, and we have a number of capital goods businesses. Within our consumables industry, the main categories are the raw materials from the mills, coppers, brass, many different grades, of course. Then we move into our equipment business, which is a very diverse range of commodities for the manufacture of the machines, predominantly, again, driven by the cost of oil, metals, so on and so forth. And then we have a capital goods business, which really looks at large bespoke engineering products for our customers, but once again, heavily driven by the steel market.
And what are the main challenges you're currently facing?
I think the main challenge that we're facing, that a number of other companies are facing, is the expectation of when the market and how the market will recover. That, with the backdrop of a raw material market that's extremely volatile at the moment, which is changing on a daily basis. And it's really getting that balance right with your supply base to understand what their needs are, how the recovery will happen, and again, what your expectations of cost should be going forward.
And what do you see as being the top three challenges then facing the procurement function, in the next 12 months?
I think the primary challenge that's faced by procurement, and again, it's not unique to our industry, is understanding or trying to get an understanding. If I had a crystal ball, I think I'd make millions of pounds, but a real understanding of what's going to happen to copper, brass, aluminium going forward, and at what point should we be hedging, at what point should we be trying to sustain the position we're at, and really what is our position of strength in such an aggressively changing market. That's the primary driver for us at the moment. I think secondly, the last 12 months with a number of changes in industry, a number of very tragic events around the world, risk, the management of risk, continuity of supply. I think we, like a number of other companies, saw what we would have classed as very simple commodities that we'd never had a problem for the last 30, 40 years, running into difficulty, that of the likes of small electrical components, which you buy in the hundreds of thousands and suddenly disappeared. So I think continuity of supply and risk is a key driver. I also think, maybe slightly off the wall, is expectation management of management is a key area, because at the moment I think a number of companies similar to ours is going through that procurement change as being a support function to a business to actually being a business driver. And one of the key challenges is making that change, driving through that change, and delivering on the benefit you believe you can offer to the business.
So how have you seen the procurement function change then over the past few years? And on top of that, where do you see it going?
Well, I've been in procurement for nearly 17 years now. So I started in industry when procurement was an admin function. It was the role that everyone could do. It was easy. Why can't you just get it cheaper?
Shopping, sure.
Exactly. It's kind of the happy shopper model. And I've seen it change. I've seen procurement develop into being recognized as a stakeholder in the business. But what I've seen in the last 2 to 3 years is, through a more end-to-end supply chain model, procurement really is becoming a business driver. And that, depending on the maturity of the business you're in, dependent on the stakeholders involved, will depend on how difficult that challenge is to make that transition, to truly be a member of the board going forward.